If you teach for any amount of time, you're going to learn that many classes have their own personality, especially when you get to middle school and high school. Even different class periods have different personalities. And occasionally you'll get a number of what I would call disruptive or alpha students in the same class feeding off of each other. And when that happens, you need to implement some strategies. This is how you get a class back under control if you're beginning to lose them. First and most powerful is the seating chart. Like I said, we talked about that. I've done a video on it. Seating chart, take your disruptive students and move them around so that they're not in close proximity to each other and can't feed off of each other. As a matter of fact, I'd move them each as far apart away as possible. And you might want to take whoever's the most disruptive and put them next to your desk. Structured lesson plans. Make sure your lesson plans are very, very structured. Try not to give them time to be disruptive, but that might not be enough. Like I said, the culture may develop that they don't care about the lesson or not, and some of these people are going to crave attention. One of the things you can use that occasionally works is rewards. Tell the students if everybody's on task and nobody gets in trouble, that maybe Friday they get to pick a movie or something to watch. Give them something to work towards. Obviously, you're going to want that movie to be something academic related to your subject, but you could tell them to pick something that, and make them come up with the reasons why it's related to the subject. A little bit of critical thinking there. Here's a good one, is peer pressure. When I was in my teaching classes back at university, one of my favorite professors talked about peer pressure is a powerful, powerful tool. So a lot of students don't want extra assignments. They don't want a more difficult test. If you allow them to have free Fridays where they can sit wherever they want, they don't want to go back to their assigned seats, especially if you allow them to move around after you take attendance or something. They don't want to go back to their assigned seats. And another thing, if your school permits it, like our school, they can have a snack and some water. You can tell them that in your classroom, those things aren't allowed if they misbehave. So I use a lot of those things. I'll say, hey, if you guys are not doing your work right now, obviously you're finished and I've bored you. I'm sorry for wasting your time. So I'm going to give you an extra assignment. I want each of you to write a 250-word essay about whatever, and I'll go up and I'll write it on the board. And then, of course, all the kids they don't want to do it. So I'll tell them, okay, so this is your last chance. Get back on task, or you will have this for your homework assignment. Sometimes if I'm at my computer, if I'm taking attendance or working on lesson plans or something and they're supposed to be on task, I'll tell them, look, I'm working on your test right now, and you guys are putting me in a foul mood. Do you really want me in a foul mood when I'm making your test? Because the last question I just put on there, whew, even I wouldn't want to answer that question. And then there'll be some pressure. A lot of your kids who are on task will tell the ones who are not on task to quiet down, sit down, shut up, and do their work. Now, again, sometimes the students who are disruptive won't respond to that, or maybe the other kids are even too nervous to tell them that, and then you need to intervene with that student individually. But this is if you're trying to get an entire class back on track. We talked about the assigned seats, and again, the no food and drink. So I'll let them have water and a snack, and but I'll tell them, look, if you guys are going to behave this way, I don't have to let you do this. This is a privilege I give you, and it's going to be taken away if you guys can't act like adults. So these are all things you can do to get a class back on track. One of my favorites, and I'm able to pull this off. You can probably pull it off. It takes a little bit of effort, but especially with like 9th graders, 10th graders. Actually, I do with 11th and 12th grade also. I'll have the students teach the class. I'll get to a unit where the information is maybe less important than some of the other chapters. and I'll assign each of the students in a group to teach part of the chapter. And it's amazing how this works. I have a whole lesson plan on it where they have to go up and teach for 15 minutes. Long story short, when they do that and they put their heart and energy into it, and they see how the other students behave, at the end of the lesson, I make them do a one-page write-up about what did you learn about teaching the class. And it's always amazing to me how much it changes them to see what it's like to put your heart and soul in something and then have nobody else take it seriously. Had one kid his sophomore year, um, really masculine, dominant kid, came to me in tears. And I looked at him and I go, "Why are you crying?" He goes, "Because I feel so bad about the way I've acted to all my teachers. I've written letters of apology to all of them, and I'm not going to act that way anymore." I kid you not. That's an absolutely true story. I found it incredibly moving that it had that impact, and it's had an impact like that on a lot of students. So if you have a chapter or two that you can break up into 6 or 8 parts and assign groups to it and make the teacher or make the students teach the class, give it a shot. It's amazing. And I'll put pressure on them and say, "Look, you guys think this is boring? You think you can do a better job? You're going to teach the class." And usually I'll do that like at the end of the first 9 weeks, so that the rest of the year I'll be like, "Do you guys want to teach the class again? Are you bored? Do you want to go up there again?" And then they're like, "No, you go ahead and do it, Mr. Cole." So give that a shot. And then when all else fails, when all hope is lost, I go with Camp Cole. Camp Cole, I tell all of the students to take everything off their desk and fold their hands and just leave their hands folded on the desk while I walk around the class and tell them, for the rest of this class periods, if it's not guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States or our school system, you don't have it. No food, no drink, nothing. And you're going to sit here with your hands folded for the rest of this class period while I sit here and lecture you about the importance of acting like adults. And then I'll go into a whole speech about external locus of control and internal locus of control. And when I'm done with this, a lot of kids always tell me, like, "Mr. Cole, you're a life coach." And that's always good feedback. But that goes a long way too. So you can have Camp Cole or Camp Jones or whatever your last name is, throw it on there, and you'll find it's highly effective. Um, so hopefully there's just some good strategies that you can implement and take a shot at. If you have questions about any of them, drop a message uh, in the comment section below. If you're a veteran teacher and you have other things you want to share about getting a class under control, I'm sure we'd all love to hear it. And in a moment, I'm going to start talking about individuals.